So, in what ways can the evolution of consciousness directly address materialism, consumerism, and identity loss in modern society?
The consumerism and materialism side of things is actually the easier part, in as much as once you begin to undertake what Sri Aurobindo calls the adventure of consciousness and joy, where you're really focused on that and you become captivated by that adventure, all these outer material things take on a much smaller importance in your life. At each stage, the prior stuff, your material stuff, has fallen away from you, and you don't miss it because you've focused your attention elsewhere. And so when you take up this adventure of consciousness, you suddenly become less enamored of and less concerned about material well-being, or let's say not well-being because you should have well-being, but material consumerism that is just there for exploitation of resources or vanity or pride or for some feeling of that's who I am as opposed to who you really are inside. You know, someone's got 20 Rolls Royces in their garage. It's not because they feel satisfied with who they are in themselves. They feel like they have to make a show of who they are by having all this collection of material goods. Well, okay, but that means you have very little self-worth internally. And so as you take up this adventure, those things fall off automatically. And the reason it's a little more complex is people are so tied up in the education and training and expectations of their friends, their family, their society, their culture, their religion, their political philosophy, that they don't know how to have a self-worth. They're told that their self-worth comes from being this particular profession or doing this particular thing or having this particular relationship. To get a self-worth, you have to be able to walk away internally, separate yourself from those things and say, I am not career, I'm not the engineer, I'm not the politician, I'm not the person working in the restaurant. I am a conscious being, and my self-worth comes from that consciousness. And I'm not a particular race, I'm not a particular gender, I'm not a particular career, I'm not a particular religious acolyte. I'm someone who is a living being with a unique conscious expression. And that begins to develop as they grow internally. And they realize how illusory all those other things can be.